Man, it's a great addition. This is someone that I train with in the off season, so I'm very familiar with. And just to take the off season into and bring it into our room now, it helps out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So,
From that time you've trained with him, what's some insight you can give us on him off the field and maybe what he can provide on the field?
first of all, he's a great person. He's a great person. I don't let people train with me, honestly, and I let him train with me. So, I should tell you everything you need to know.
How does that come together, that training relationship?
He reached out to my trainer, and my trainer asked me. So, like, it's a one-on-one thing with me with my trainer, and he reached out to my trainer. He trained, and of course, and like I said, he's a great person, and he works extremely hard. To answer your question, man, he's a great route runner, great a hard worker. So that's honestly that's all I care about. He's a hard worker.
So you didn't know him, you didn't really know him beforehand or anything until like his trainer reached out to you?
I was a fan of him from afar, and when I put two and two together, they told me who he was. I was like, oh yeah.
What did you like about him before you met him and now?
Yeah, just going against him and watching him, man, he will always make some good plays, and he runs some really good routes, and he was still early on in his career, and you could still see like he was developing and still learning the game, and so when my trainer told me, he was like, "That's Jahan from Washington," I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah," and then it just kind of progressed from there.
How competitive were those training sessions, AJ?
It was always competitive, like I said, he works hard, so that's my training session. So of course I'm trying to outdo him, so just to get better, most importantly. So.
How are you
that he has here, AJ? Over the past couple of years, when you and Devontae are on the field together, and you guys are in 11, like how much attention do you guys get, and how much of an opportunity is that potentially for Jahan?
He has a big opportunity in front of him. I'm not going to put too much on his plate, but he does. And I can tell you guys, when I line up, I know they're yelling out 11 in the slot, 11 outside, and most of the time I'm getting coverage rotated to me, most importantly. And, Smitty has his one-on-one matchups, and I don't know how they do with Smitty, so I don't really speak for myself, but I know they account for Smitty as well. So when you look up, I ain't gonna say you're not really worried about them, but they're probably not gonna put their best guy over there.
They can only do so much.
They only can do so much, and it's very rare that certain teams probably have three really really good DBs, and so he has a big opportunity in front of him to he has mismatches all day, and and I hope he maximizes those mismatches.
What do you think is going to be most different about this offense?
Was it the difference?
What's going to be different than your first 2 years? And why do you think it's going to be different?
I can't answer that because we haven't played yet, so I really don't know.
You've seen training camp.
Yeah, but that's camp though. I honestly feel like nobody knows how this team's gonna play until we play against somebody else, and it's a real game. You want to see how guys react. You don't know how the game's gonna get called. You don't know. We got new offensive coordinator, so you just don't know. And so it's still early. Yes, we done some great things in camp. That's camp. But they're blowing the whistle. Nobody's getting tackled. Stuff like that. You gotta put all that into one. So
going back to what you hear pre-snap, defensive backs trying to figure out where you're lined up. How much of an advantage is it that Jahan can play inside out? Having three guys who can all play from different alignments.
Just having guys just can go inside and outside helps the offense out a lot. Because I can tell you guys, going against 55 on the outside, and that's not fun in my world, honestly. But to have guys that can change with you and you moving in motion and doing those type of things, and it helps out everybody. So.
AJ, Tanner McLeod told us a story earlier this summer that last year he found out he spent time in Brazil, and you were asking him a lot of questions about Brazil, Portuguese, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Hey, where did that curiosity come about, and have you focused on Portuguese at all, or try to learn any Portuguese?
No, because we had a meeting yesterday, and it was like a whole bunch of don't do's, and so I'm just trying to go down there, win a football game, and come back home. That's the best way I could put it.
Remember though, with
Yeah. It's me talking to him and asking a lot of questions. You know, that was my first initial thought. You know, but after hearing all this stuff, you know, I'm probably gonna be in my room.
AJ, how do you kind of balance, you know, the fact that you guys are going to Brazil and it's this great opportunity to grow the game with also the fact that, you know, you're playing the Packers, it's, you know, your first game and everything, and, you know, you got to be focused on that. I mean, is that tough to do, or how do you handle it?
No, it shouldn't be tough to do. You know, we're professionals. This isn't my first game, but it is my first game out of the country. So you just gotta put all that into a factor and just try to navigate through that the best way you can. And ultimately, you know, what we down there to do. We down there to win a football game.
What were you told not to do?
We're not down there to see the city, do all this other stuff. This is not a vacation. This is it's a football game. And that's
What were you told not to do?
a lot, honestly. Things that we would normally do here, even simple as just walking down the street with your phone in your hand and stuff like that, like, which is kind of crazy. So it's all right.
Last one, please.
Jahan, and Britton kind of said that you guys didn't really run any plays for your third receiver last year. What kind of opportunity will that kind of reality present for Jahan, and how different will that look based on his skill set and, you know, his ability to not being covered the same way you guys are?
I didn't hear the first part.
Britton said you guys didn't really run any plays for your third wide receiver.
Uh-huh.
You don't do that, and obviously, you know, you've got some.
That ain't really
ahead
true.
of Jahan. What kind of opportunity does that present for Jahan?
Like I said, everybody is keying in on us. You know, every pre-snap what we're doing. So, like I said earlier, he has a big opportunity in front of him because guys are they're not just really just worried about him. You know, he's not the focal point, and you know, and that's not a bad thing. You know, it's a perception thing. You know, you can look at it two ways. I'm not the focal point, or he was like, I have a huge opportunity. They're not worried about me. You know, I can make them worried about me, and so I think he's taking that approach. And like I said, he's been working extremely hard, putting in a whole bunch of overtime, learning his offense as quickly as possible. He has a big opportunity in front of him. You know, so.